Welcome to the Fans Ed Sports Show. But thank God I'm not a Florida fan. Just out here looking trash.
People call me crazy for saying they had 6 losable games on their schedule.
That's where I picked y'all preseason.
So I don't know how, but somehow they got some excitement around their program right now.
Welcome to the Fans Ed Sports Show, hosted by your guys, Cleveland Mike and Terry from College Football Stop, man. Last time we talked to y'all, it was before Christmas. I hope that everybody had a great Merry Christmas. Terry, man, how was your Christmas and your family's Christmas?
Man, I had a great Christmas with my family, brother. To be honest with you, my kids had a good Christmas, which, Christmas, that's really what matters. You know what I mean?
Right.
If the kids don't have a good Christmas, then nobody does. And the wife.
Right.
She had a good one too. So, yeah, man, it was good. How was yours?
Same, man. Same. The kids was happy. Actually, I think you saw my tweet, man. I put out a tweet saying my daughter woke up the whole house at 6 o'clock in the morning. Sun wasn't even out. So they started a bit early for us in the Wilson household, man.
We just did our stuff. We just did our stuff with our kids on Christmas Eve. The night of, we're like, you want to just go ahead and do this? It was like, boom, knocked it out.
I know. I wish we could do that, but, man, it's the whole, they're in the whole L's mode and the Santa stuff. Yeah, and the L's go away on Christmas Eve. So they'll be confused. What? We get to open it? And then they don't open any on Christmas, they'd be confused. But we got an action-packed show today, man. Deshaun Jackson, famous Hall of Fame wide receiver, is now the head coach of Delaware State.
Yeah, I thought we talked about the no. We talked. What was the one we talked about last week?
We talked about Mike Vick.
Mike Vick. That's what it was. Yeah. So yeah. Hey, listen. This former player thing is. I mean, it's catching. I like it, bro. I like it. I don't know. As long you're going to get some bust, and that unfortunately is going to go on that guy's kind of resume that he ended up being a bust as a coach. But it really don't matter because the ones that end up being good, it's going to be so cool to see it, bro. All your favorite players from when you was a kid. Not all of them, but some of your favorite players, man, you're going to see them as coaches now. That's going to make people watch those teams just for that. You know what I mean?
Big fact. Sorry, I'm out here tweeting the show out.
You're good. I'll retweet it. So
yeah. I'm hoping that this increases people going to HBCUs. Also, I'm hoping that this increases the level of football. That these guys get to learn from the guys who actually done it. Now, not all players can be good coaches, so I am hoping that Deshaun Jackson can be that. Sometimes he does worry me, man, but we definitely hope that what he does is a great impact on the college football world and these young men's lives going forward, man. So, and we appreciate everybody right now in the chat, man. Drop a comment, join the chat. You got any questions? Let us know, man. Make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe button. Terry, James Franklin, he keeps making headline comments. And the last time we talked about James Franklin and his headline comments, he was talking about that we need a commissioner of football. Well, now James Franklin has named his commissioner of college football, saying that it should be Nick Saban. And Terry, I think that it would be a great idea for it to be Nick Saban. I think that we would get the regulations. I think it's someone who understands the sport and would set the coaches up, the universities, and I think also the players up in a more situation because, some people want to say Nick Saban's against paying the players. No, he's not against it. He was like, where's the guardrails at? Before we do this, where's the guardrails? And he was saying, this is coming. It's coming. He told everybody ahead of time, it's coming. So let's start putting the guardrails ahead. But nobody wanted to listen to this man. And to be honest, you can go back years and years of Nick Saban predicting exactly what's going to happen with college football. I think that he would be the perfect person to be the college football commissioner. I think James Franklin, he might fumble up in big games, but he ain't fumbling up in this one.
Hey, man, they're in the playoffs. Don't disrespect James Franklin. They might make it farther than we do. Anyway.
Don't say that. Don't put that juju out there.
All right, whatever. Anyway, but dude, I mean, James Franklin kind of just took the thoughts out of all of our minds, right? Like, if there was ever going to be someone who would be the college football commissioner, it would be Nick Saban. I don't know if he wants to do that, but I mean, it's not like he quit coaching and then just rode off into the sunset and went and sat on the back porch with his wife and fished all the like. He's all around college football every single weekend. He's on the on the TV with game day. So, I mean, if he's down, I'm down. You know what I mean? Like, Nick Saban will run this. He will run it like really good, I would think.
I think so too, man. And maybe that this is something that can, start moving forward. Maybe after, because we're going to end up talking about this later. But maybe when they expand the playoffs, there has been talks about getting away from the NCAA, and maybe that might be the time to pick a college football commissioner. Then,
yeah, I mean, I don't know how they're going to separate from the NCAA, how all that's going to work out, man. But I mean, the fact, like, with the way that things are trending right now, they got to have a commissioner. It's going to have to happen, right? They got to have somebody to actually make rules and guidelines. It can't just be what the NCAA has become, which is kind of like this background entity that may come in and try to slap you with a, say you did something wrong every now and then. Like, there needs to be somebody more involved. So,
I mean, and that governing body still needs to be there. It's just not the NCAA. And then also looking at this from like a university standpoint, we're dishing money out to the NCAA, right? Like, we're having to give money to the NCAA, pay this. NCAA is taking part of our revenue and things like that. If we can cut that out and have some other governing body where we just can pay more minimal than what we were doing to the NCAA, I mean, I think it will work out for all parties, especially with the TV revenue coming up. What's that, in July, I believe?
Yeah, and same, like I said, same thing, bro. Something has to happen. There has to be a governing body, but there does need to be like someone in charge who answers. You know what I mean? Like, and we have that with conferences. We have that with teams. We don't have that with the NCAA. You never get like the head of the NCAA is going to come out and be like, okay, this is why we're doing this, and this is the the plan. They kind of have that with the college football playoffs, I guess, like with the the commissioner of that and whatever. The Ward Manuel is the one who talks for him now. But yeah, having that for all the NCAA would be sweet, bro. And I can't think of anybody better than Saban if he wanted it.
Facts, man. So there was somebody putting out reports, fake reports, or that Kenneth Grant was staying at the team up north, but he has declared for the NFL draft, man. And what do you think this does to that team up north? Because one thing that we said, or I said going into this, I could see them going, 9-3. They still did not do that. But I thought it was because of the key players who was returning, like the Kenneth Grants, the Colston Lovelands, just all of those key guys. Most of those guys are probably about to leave. So how does this impact their roster going forward, where you're talking about, Ohio State doing dumb stuff, running right into the strength of their defense? Now they're losing that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're going to have a lot of turnover, especially like their super high end elite players. Because obviously they got like 4 first-round picks this year, all that good stuff. Which, hey man, look, they're all really good, bro. Like Colston Loveland is really good. Will Johnson, and then those 2 guys you were talking about. But I mean, obviously, I think it's going to impact them. But at the same time, I also feel like their defensive structure and their kind of defensive mentality is more the reason why their defense has been good. I mean, I know those guys are phenomenal. They're going to be great in the NFL. But I don't know, man. Like I don't expect their defense to have some major drop off. I think their defense is going to be really good next year. Obviously, they may be a little bit worse in the middle there, but I mean, probably a lot worse. Those, they're not going to have 2 first-round picks.
I was about to say, man, like,
but dude, they had guys in our game against Ohio State that were making plays. I mean, that the guys that were not those two. You know what I mean?
So
we
were setting them up to make plays on defense.
Well, I mean, that's another conversation, dude. I already know.
We're not going to even use that as a blueprint, but look at how everybody else was able to, exploit them. And just imagine if our coach didn't have that mental block and was actually able to cook up a game plan like other coaches were.
And that was kind of the story this year, Mike, that they didn't have a lot of depth on the interior. So yeah, I mean, obviously that's going to impact them, bro, but I don't know. I got to see their defense have a big fall off before I believe it, because people talked a lot of shit about Wink Martindale, and honestly, he did a lot of dumb shit this year, but I do feel like later in the year they did continue getting better and better. And when they played against us, dude, I know we were doing dumb shit, but their defense was good. I mean, I can't.
No, yeah, they were getting better and better as the year went on, and I think that we also spoke on that earlier in the season. Like when they faced us, they were going to be a better team than what we were seeing against them playing USC and Texas and all of that. So
let's move on, bro. I don't want to talk about Michigan, man. We got some big shit coming up.
But yeah, hey, so we had our first round of the college football playoffs the last time, everybody, we talked and everything. And the biggest storyline from that Friday, when Notre Dame went against Indiana, I told you that I thought that game could end up looking like how Ohio State did Indiana as well. I wouldn't say that Notre Dame did Indiana as bad as Ohio State did, but I mean, it was basically blowout. And you had the ESPN pundits and Lane Kiffins of the world out there tweeting, and then you have the SMU Penn State game at noon, and they're tweeting and all of this of how other SEC teams could have been better and not got blown out. But here's what no one's talking about. Go back to 2015 when Michigan State got blown out in the CFP. 2016, Ohio State didn't score one single point in 2016. Notre Dame has gotten blown out every time. Cincinnati makes it. What happened? They got blown out. The team up north makes it. What happened? They got blown out. Like, we have seen blowouts in a 14 playoff. What made people think that you were not going to see it in a 12-team playoff? I think that people have these delusional expectations, and that's why here at the Fans Edge, I have been saying for years since I started this platform, there's no reason to have 12 teams, bro. I always said maybe 6, 8 at the most, but there is no reason to have 12 teams. And now they're going to have talks about, oh, they should expand it even more. Look, because Bama and Ole Miss got left out. So do you want to go see Bama have that same performance that they had against OU? What makes you think that they're not going to have that performance again? Because guess how many times we saw Bama have terrible performances? Multiple times, over and over and over, which is the reason why they were left out.
Yeah.
Same thing with
I agree, Mike. I agree, man. But like, I don't necessarily agree with there shouldn't be a 12-team playoff. I like how it played out, bro. Like, I think all the higher seeds won. So that's first off, like, they didn't completely screw up seeding and put one of the higher seeds. Like, they didn't give somebody a away game that should have got a home game. So right there, that's at least one good thing, right? All the higher seeds won. And I mean, if it comes down to it, dude, and we have one of the lower seeds win one of those games, that's where it's going to be worth it. Like, it's not going to happen too often, but I do think that it is worth having a 12-team playoff. Now, I do think that they have to do something with like the auto bid for every single conference. But we all knew from the beginning, right? When this thing was announced, we knew that the Big Ten, the SEC, the Big 12, and the ACC were not going to all have a conference champion that was worthy of being a top 4 seed. Like, we all knew that.
Right.
And honestly, the way it played out, like, it was 2 teams that were not even in the top 12 ended up getting into the top 12 because of the auto bid thing, which, I mean, they need to do something with that. But again, I don't necessarily think that going away with 12 teams is a bad thing. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't think that going away from 4 teams was a bad thing.
You just proved why you should go away from 12. You just said that all the higher seeds won 18 playoff.
I see. Okay, I mean, I see what you're
saying.
Not
only did they win, bro. Not only did they win, they mopped the floor with these teams, bro.
I mean, they did, but like, what if 1 year that wouldn't be that way? Like, I feel like those games need to be played. It's almost like a play.
Here's the thing: we keep playing the what if game, but remember, everybody wanted Cincinnati in there, and you know what we saw when Cincinnati got in there? They did not have the guys. They just don't. And then you got SMU, their first time being in a P5, P4 conference. They don't have the guys. They just didn't have the guys to keep up. The quarterback didn't even have the mentality or the capability to even understand the coverages that Penn State was throwing at them. They never seen nothing like this before.
I agree. I just think those games should be played. That's all. That's where I'm at. Like, I agree with you, but
the only reason we playing the games is for money. That's it.
Let's do it. That's a home game. But hey, listen, we had a home game. It was sweet. Like, I don't know, because when there's an upset in one of those, that's where shit's gonna go crazy. When you got a 10 seed that comes in and they end up upsetting the whatever seed the 10 seed plays, I mean. But
Terry, your team made the 8 seed. Would you really have been mad that they didn't play last? What was that? 7 days ago? Would you really be mad that they didn't play 7 days ago and was just ramping up for this game?
Oh, no, I wouldn't be mad.
Exactly. No. 18 playoff, bro. That's all it should be. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. I don't know, man. And they're talking about, you mentioned they were talking about raising it, which I think is like a done deal. They're going to raise it to 14 or something. I don't know, man. It's about making money and making more big games. And honestly, I'm okay with it, Mike, because I like the matchups, bro. We got to play Tennessee. We ain't got to play Tennessee in forever. Now, Texas played Clemson. That was really cool. The other ones is where it's a little weird, bro. It's like, okay, the BYUs and or not BYUs, but the SMUs and the
No, you was right. The BYU.
BYU was okay, yeah, whatever. I'm getting mixed up on who played weekend,
because they might get in there. You know, they be having a good
I'm talking
program.
About this year. I'm talking about this year. I was talking about the games that was played this year, but I mean, yeah, some of those teams, I get what you're saying, but bro, it was cool to be able to see Ohio State versus Tennessee play each other. And dude, the whole country thought that was going to be a good game, or that Tennessee was going to be able to beat Ohio State, and we were able to go out there and be like,
but Terry, why did the country, or why did people? There's only 2 logical answers. Either one, you hate Ohio State, or 2, you're just the SEC warrior. And you just think that the SEC is all of this and that. That's the only 2 reasons that made you think that Tennessee could hang. Like, the fact that we were told over and over, to the fact that had me believing in this Tennessee defensive line, and people want to still keep trying to tell me that Tennessee defensive line was just amazing. That was mud. And I'm sorry, I've been saying this. I said this after the Ohio State game on the Voice of College Football Ohio State channel, right after the game. If that's one of the best defenses in the SEC, what does that say about the SEC, bro?
The SEC might be weak, Mike. I'm going to be honest with you. They might be weak this year. I mean, looking at, like, the bowl games and then, like, just looking at what you expect, man. You look at the top, like Georgia and Texas are the top 2 teams that are still in the playoffs from the SEC. And like, I honestly feel like there's multiple teams in the playoff that could beat them both. Like, that's what's crazy about it. I don't know, man. So,
yeah, I'm agreeing with our guys.
I still like seeing it, though. I still like seeing the gameplay.
14 is overkill, bro.
It is. I agree with
that. Like our guy Maze Madman said, I agree with Cleveland Mike, man. 12 teams is OD. Big facts, man. You just wearing down on these kids, bro. And And I'm gonna tell you why it's worse. Terry, you gotta deal with the transfer portal and all of this stuff going on right now. You sign it, all of this. Come on, man.
Something has to be done about that, bro. The portal and stuff shouldn't be happening while teams have to still play meaningful games.
But these kids got to get in college and get ready by January. That's the thing.
I know, like if a team makes it to the national championship, a player won't be able to transfer from that team and be involved in spring ball, right? Because they won't.
They got to enroll in classes.
That's just like there has to be a way to make an exception for that, though, dude. Come on, like I don't know.
Every college making that exception is just not happening. That's the thing. The football calendar does not match up at all with the academic calendar of the schools. That's why I think we were talking last week that they're going to have to move it up in August, like mid-August, early August. You're going to have to. But again,
which I'm fine with that. I mean, what would that hurt? Like,
I mean, then it's going to be up to the NCAA or whatever governing body and how they allow the coaching staffs to be able to get these guys ready, because who's to say that you get that same amount of time in fall break? You know, after spring break, the kids get a certain amount of time or whatever between spring break to summer, you know, conditioning and things like that. So that's not a big window. You're going to be like, I don't know, right after spring, we need to get ready because the game is right after the summer, right? Like, I mean, if you're talking about you got July, August, games kick off, you don't got that leisure time that you would have before, which again would just take away from the coaches and the players, because remember, the coaches would at least get, what was that, a week or two? Or almost like it was like a month, no contact or something.
Yeah,
they won't get that anymore. They won't get that anymore. So
yeah, honestly, that's probably not happening. What you're saying, bro, they'll probably just keep it the same, and just if you make the playoffs, then I mean, you just have to deal with it and figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, you look at a guy like, if we're looking at it from Ohio State perspective, bro, look at a guy like Devin Brown. Like, what's he supposed to do if Ohio State makes the Natty, bro? Is he just stuck not having a spring? Or no, like, does he leave? What do you think? Like, I don't think he stays.
What do you do?
Yeah, I don't think he's.
How are you going to be? Yeah, you didn't enroll in Ohio State. You're not enrolled in any other school. I mean, is the school going to allow you to enroll late? I mean, money talk, bullshit walk. I always say that. So, I mean, if it's a quarterback that they need and Devin Brown's that quarterback, like I said, money talk, bullshit walk.
I mean, so imagine this, right? I'm going to paint a scenario where somebody gets hurt here. Everybody knows I don't want that, all right? But for this specific situation, let's say that Ohio State wins this game. The next game that we play against Texas. Will Howard gets hurt in the fourth quarter when we're up by 14 points. Devin Brown comes in and wins the game. Will Howard can't come back. And then what does Devin Brown do? What does he do, bro? He's like, okay, I'm going to stay here and waste my whole entire spring just so I can play this one game. This is my game. Like, I don't know, bro. The way it works out, there has to be some kind of waiver or something where once these kids are done, they can hit the portal, because you're talking about a matter of a couple of days. Also, like, you're talking about they have to enroll by like January 6th, and this natty thing will be done by January 20th or whatever. So you're talking about 14 days where then they could just enroll in school at that point, you know, whatever, hit the portal and then enroll. And listen, I was reading the chat while I was talking. I'm not jinxing nobody. I love Will Howard. Nothing's going to happen to Will Howard.
Knock on wood. I'm knocking on wood. Hey, soon as he said it, trust me, I was over here knocking on wood already. So we good. But yeah. But Terry, man, it's here, the nitty-gritty. We are at the quarterfinals, got through the first round, what I like to call the wild card anyways, right? So we got through that. And your first matchup is going to be Texas, Arizona State. I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm taking Texas in this game, man. I see no reason why not to. I believe that they got a good front seven, and Arizona State is good running the ball which opens up their passing game. And I just think that Texas front is pretty good at, and I think they'll be able to stop that.
So I mean, I agree with you there, dude. That game I don't think is going to end up being close, to be honest. I think Texas is going to take care of business in that game. Again, it's just this is what I was talking about with the automatic bids for the conference champions, like, you know. But at the same time, the game's got to be played, bro. You never know. Like, we could say this right now, and Texas go out there and lose to Arizona State, and then they, you know, nobody gets to talk shit anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't know, but I don't think that happens, bro. If I'm picking this game, I'm definitely picking Texas to win this game. And I think they'll win it pretty easily. I don't think Arizona State's on that level.
I think Steve was thinking that you was gonna pick Arizona State on that, man.
Nah, I got one. I got
Steve
one for
waiting
this week,
on it, man. Steve
I got one for this
week.
I do got one. Last week I was off. I can't pick against Texas again. I did it last week. I gotta give them. They look okay. I like my guy Quinn. I need to hype him up so that way when he's done this year, he can transfer to Ohio State. So.
Man, well, before we get to our game of the week, man, we got to talk Penn State versus Boise State, man. And you got, Steve, you might get it. Here it goes. You got Gentry, top running back in the country. Boise State gave Oregon a game early in the season. The CFP committee said that they respect Boise State's conference championship more than they do the ACC. So
they should.
This Boise State team is pretty serious. Oregon needed special teams touchdowns and special teams momentum to be able to come back and win this game on Boise State. But, Penn State, last time, we saw them, they took care of business against SMU. They were able to keep up with Oregon's high-octane offense. The one thing that I do feel bad about Penn State, and I was thinking about this, and I was like, I think that there's areas where they could use Bo Pabula, but he didn't hit the portal. And I'm just like, dang, bro, like they're missing part of their offense, a good part of their offense. But I do think that Penn State can go ahead and win this game. I think that they have a pretty good front seven. I think the biggest thing is will Penn State get Abdul Carter out the way and move him around early enough? Because one thing we have seen teams do is go right at Abdul Carter in the run game, and he's been the fish every time. So that's the biggest worry that I am worried about with Penn State. But other than that, I think that they actually win this in close fashion.
In close fashion? Listen, this is the game we get tomorrow night, right?
Tomorrow night?
Yeah, one of them's tomorrow night, and then the other one's Wednesday. Okay, yeah. Dude, this is going to be one of the funnest games to watch in this playoff, I think. I think this is going to be one of the games where it's going to be high scoring. It's going to be back and forth. I think Boise is going to be able to score on Penn State. I think they will be able to score on them just because all the things they do in the run game, and Boise does throw the ball too. You know what I mean? If Penn State gets up, they'll try to throw it over top. I think Genty's going to have a big day in this game, dude. I really do. Like, I was making the face before Steve wants the upset of the week. I think I kind of blew it already, but I think this is the one. This is the upset of the week for me. Like I said, I can't pick against Texas again, and I wouldn't anyways. I think James Franklin, without having the help of playing a home game, obviously I don't think Penn State was ever going to lose to they played SMU, right? I don't think Penn State was ever going to lose to SMU, but I do think that them having a home game, was very helpful for them. This being a neutral site game, I think Boise State let me rephrase that. I think Ashton Genty is a real superstar, like not just a fake superstar. I think he's a real superstar, and in big games like this, superstars can take over the game. I think Genty takes over. I think Boise State pulls off the upset. I'm going to say something like 41-38, something crazy, like a really high scoring game. Both teams are scoring over and over again. And Boise State pulls it off and makes it to the Final Four, which is crazy to think that that team will be in the Final Four.
Yep. And Terry, man, I do not blame you. I wouldn't be shocked if Boise State won this game. Another point that I have meant to make earlier is do you remember when we used to talk about Ohio State and the wide receivers having dead legs? And that's one thing that we had started to see from Gentry at the back end of the season was the guy just looked like he was getting wore down. Possibly at running back. That still could be a factor, but I think that, them getting that first round bye, getting that extra rest, all that time off, I think that could be a benefit for Boise, but also you can think that, hey, there could be rest from everybody trying to get healthy. And again, this is one of those type of matchups where I'm saying guys coming from G5 playing, like P4, and then we saw how Penn State was just able to rush for 300-some yards on dang on Oregon, bro. So I don't see if Boise State D-line being able to manhandle Penn State's massive Big Ten offensive line.
Yeah, I don't think that either. Honestly, that's why. Like, I can see Penn State winning this game. I can see just their size and their athletes taking over the game. But I don't think it's going to happen, dude, because I don't think that Penn State is that type of team, and they try to do too much sometimes. James Franklin always tries to get too cute. Our guy TK from like the Twitterverse, if you guys know him, then you know him, but he's a big Penn State fan. He was just saying earlier today that James Franklin is going to do something that's going to piss him off this week tomorrow. He knows it. He's like, I already know that no matter what, James Franklin is going to do something to piss me off, and that's kind of what he does. Like, you look back to the Oregon game, they could have won the Big Ten championship, dude, if they just didn't try to do too much shit.
I think it's crazy, Terry, when I said something about James Franklin in big games, you tried to correct me and stuff. Talking about, they here in the playoffs, but you got them about to lose to a G5 school.
Mike, I was trying to set up the upset, man. And then I ruined it. And then I ruined it before I even got to it. I was trying to set it up. It was gonna be like boom, but I didn't get to do it.
It happens, man. And we got another matchup: Notre Dame versus Georgia without Carson Beck. Man, that's going to be an 8:45 kickoff on ESPN. Man, it has been ruled official. Carson Beck is out. We seen them post the picture, the whole things on the sleeve. I think that Notre Dame possibly wins this game, and I think that it's still going to be.
You think so?
Slightly close. And here's the thing, because I don't have faith in Riley Leonard, and I think Riley Leonard could be the reason why Georgia actually wins this game. Georgia and their defense. I think Riley Leonard could be the reason. But also, one thing that Notre Dame is really good at is running the ball. And if they can do that, their defense is pretty stout. I think that Georgia was already having issues on offense with Carson Beck, and their defense was all just keeping them in games. So I'm going with Notre Dame in this game. I think Notre Dame is going to pull this out as long as Riley Leonard doesn't do anything to mess it up. But I know everybody wants to do the SEC effect. I know everybody wants to do, all of this, but right now, from what I have been seeing, I think the SEC is down. I don't think that what we've been seeing is honestly, if y'all been watching the tape of these games lately, like I have, or me and Terry have, bro, I don't think it's like that. Our guy Cam Truther on this platform has been saying that Georgia's defense isn't the same Georgia that we have been accustomed to in previous years as well. So they're susceptible to plays. I think Notre Dame goes ahead, wins this game, and Marcus Freeman and the Fighting Irish move forward.
Hey, that's Mike with the big upset, y'all.
Is that an upset?
Georgia's favored to win the game. I mean, I think when it opened up, Notre Dame was favored, but over time now Georgia's favored. So technically, it's an upset. I'm just saying. Also, like the conference champion. What is this? Number 3 versus number 5, 6, something like that. So I don't know. That's an upset, Mike. But listen, Notre Dame has to beat Georgia before I believe that they can beat Georgia. And I'm kind of sick with this, bro, because I believe in Marcus Freeman. I think Marcus Freeman is cooking, but I don't believe in what Notre Dame has athlete-wise. And I think that Georgia's athletes are probably going to take this game over and win it for them. And a lot of people are just assuming that Gunnar Stockton or Georgia, that he's just going to be trash. I mean, I don't think he's going to be trash. I think he's just going to be different. And honestly, like, their offense was kind of trash before Gunnar Stockton came. Like, Carson Beck would, like, I would have probably been like, you know what, against Notre Dame, Carson Beck might throw 3 interceptions and Notre Dame might beat him.
Yeah.
But now Carson Beck, you know what I mean? So what am I going to now look and be like, oh, well, this quarterback is going to make it to where they're going to lose? I don't think that. But this quarterback, they just got to show me, bro.
This quarterback known for running straight up and liable to get his head, his bell rung.
He got smacked in the SEC championship game, bro.
So, I mean, they might be down to just the Wildcat formation, man, in this game.
I wish we had the picture, bro. There was a crazy picture going around of their quarterback when he got hit in the SEC game,
bro,
or the SEC championship. He literally got pulled out of the game because he got hit so hard.
Man, bro, that was crazy. And we got our game of the week, man. Ryan Day and Dan Lanning, Ohio State versus Oregon, man. Everybody is saying that this was the game of the year back in October, and everyone is starting to say that this can be the national championship game already in the quarterfinals. And a lot of people are saying that whoever comes out of this game, whether it be Ohio State or Oregon, they're probably the favorite, the unanimous favorite to go ahead and win this.
Listen, Mike, this might get clipped up if it happens, right? But I don't think it will, so I'm cool with just saying it. I don't think this is the national championship game because I don't think that Oregon can win the national championship. Like, I don't think that they can. I know that I'm hating they're 13-0, whatever, all that stuff, bro. Like, I just think that if you put them against Texas or against Georgia, they're probably going to lose. That's where I'm at. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Georgia without Carson back?
Yes, bro. Yes, I think Georgia's defense would hold them to like 17 points or something. And then, dude, I think Oregon's defense is not very good. And I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not trying to whatever. Obviously, I'm an Ohio State fan, so I'm gonna be a little biased. Whatever. I think their defense is really not good, and I know that they beat us, but like we played them early in the year. We fumbled twice. That's what really like. If you look at the difference in that game, like we literally were driving the ball 2 times and just fumbled. Like if that's gonna happen again, then okay, sure, Oregon will probably win this game. And if that happens every time they play Texas and Georgia, then sure, they'll probably win the game. But like, I don't see that happening. You know what I mean? And just I've watched that game against them over and over again multiple times, and we were just driving the ball down the field pretty much with ease. And I know that we don't have our starting offensive line like we did in that game. But one of the big things that people don't talk about is that we lost our left guard in that game or our left tackle, in that game in the first quarter. And what does our head coach do? What is our head coach known for doing? One thing goes wrong in the game, not just one thing goes wrong, but one significant thing or one really big thing, like losing your left tackle. What does our coach do in those situations? He tightens up. All the multiplicity in our run game went away as soon as Josh Simmons got hurt. And we were still scoring some, but the second half of that game, that game was not what people think it was to me. Everyone was mad at the defense in that game, and obviously the defense played a terrible first half. Dude, the second half score of that game was 10-10. Ohio State scored 10 points. Oregon scored 10 points. That was the second half. So It was not just our defense getting cooked the entire game. They didn't even score in the third quarter. Now we gave up 10 in the fourth quarter, which again, they are a good offense. They're going to score some points, but I don't know, man. I don't think that Oregon's defense is phenomenal like that. I really don't. And they take a lot of risks to try to make plays. and I'm kind of rambling, Mike, so I want you to cut in too because my monologue is done. But anyway, I don't think their defense is crazy like that, man. I just don't. And I don't think they would beat Texas or Georgia if they played them. So I'm not calling this the championship game.
Man, hey, Terry is not calling this the championship game, man. So we've watched film on this game, Ohio State, Oregon, previously, and both of these teams are different. Ohio State is different because of their O-line on offense, a whole lot different. But they are also different because now Jeremiah Smith is not seen as a true freshman now. Jeremiah Smith is seen as basically a sophomore, a veteran now. And now they are using him more and adding more things on his plate.
And Mike, he made 2 mistakes. Sorry to interrupt you. He made 2 mistakes on the last drive of that game that kind of costed Ohio State the game. And people don't want to talk about that. Like listen, Jeremiah is like the best fucking player in the country now. I'm willing to just say this and just be real about it. Like there was a play where he costed Ohio State 20 seconds because he dove down before the first down instead of just crossing the line. And there was another play where Will Howard threw a dot where Jeremiah was supposed to be, and he cut his route a little bit too far in, and it would have been a touchdown. The DB was not there. I'm just saying, like he made
the one where are you talking about he cut in, or are you talking about the one where he cut to the sideline?
He cut out. Okay, that one. It was the last drive of the game. We threw a shot down to the right side of the end zone, and Will threw it right where Jeremiah should have been, and he cut his route in just a little bit too much because he was being physical with the DB, and he could have just came off the DB, and it would have been a dot, but he was still trying to keep his hands on the DB, and those were 2 freshman mistakes, bro. Like. You call it for what it is. Like Jeremiah has been as good as he is, but he made a couple freshman mistakes like we expected, and he doesn't do stuff like that now. And I think the way that Jeremiah's mindset is now is completely changed too, because I think that what probably happened, correct me if I'm wrong, what probably happened is I think Jeremiah kind of grew up a little bit after the Michigan game, and he probably went in and told Ryan Day and them, he was like, y'all ain't doing that shit again. We're not doing this shit again where we go the second half and we score 0 points and I don't get a target. Like, what? I don't get a target and I'm Jeremiah Smith? Nah, I don't think that's going to happen anymore. And he doesn't make the type of freshman mistakes that he was making back then either.
Well, Jeremiah said that he went to Coach Hartline and said that he went to Coach Hart and said that he wanted to be challenged. And I think that instead of him saying, hey, I want to be challenged, I think that man said, hey, I want you to put the game on me. I want that. That's the challenge that he really was asking for. Put the team on my back. That's the challenge that I think that he was really asking for. So shout out to Jeremiah, man. I think that he could still possibly have a game, but yeah. Terry, as I told
Mike,
you,
real quick. Did you hear what else Jeremiah Smith said?
What else?
He said that he basically said, like, if you're putting us in one-on-one coverage, anybody on this team, we're taking a shot. He literally referred to this Wednesday. He was like, I just want y'all to know on Wednesday, this better not be fake, bro. If this is a fake clip, a fake quote, and I'm just saying it like this, I'm gonna feel stupid. But I'm pretty sure it wasn't. I think it was real. And he was not, obviously he wasn't saying like, Oregon, y'all suck. He was just saying like, look, the way we see it is if you're putting us playing man coverage one-on-one, we're going to take a shot. I promise you we are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting it. But here's what I'm also expecting in this game, because one thing that I noticed previously and one thing that I'm also noticing, not just from Oregon, but a lot of teams are worried about Ohio State's perimeter guys, as in the wide receivers. And one thing that I realized that Oregon was doing last game, and a lot of teams, they're not too worried about Ohio State's tight end. And I do believe that this could be a G. Scott, Jelani Thurman, and maybe a Will Kazmarek. But I believe the tight end room can have a big day in this game. And I think especially if you're going to play bracket coverage on Jeremiah, and I could see Oregon coming out and probably trying to do something similar to what that team up north did with a 2-high, things like that. If you're going to do that, you're going to leave the tight end wide open. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I'm expecting that. And also another thing that Will Howard was missing was his checkdowns to the running back. I made this call one time, and I said, I don't believe that there is a linebacker in the country that can guard Travion Henderson in the pass game. I just don't believe that there's a linebacker in the country.
Nope.
And what do we see? Every time we see a linebacker get matched up on Trey, they get cooked. We hear going into the game how good these linebackers are. Linebacker, Same thing we heard about SEC, the SEC speed, all of this, the athleticism, the talent, all of that. The boy got cooked up. I'm really expecting, as long as Will is on his P's and Q's, I'm expecting that. Now, I will say, Denzel Burke, he did give up a lot of the yardage, a lot of explosive plays in that game. On the defensive side, here's one thing that Oregon did not hit and could have hit multiple times was when their wide receivers put our DBs in conflict and like those quick crossers and have to make them either decide if they're going or switching. Especially, I believe they were in the red zone. It was on the far right side of the field, and they forced the DBs to choose. And thank God Dylan Gabriel didn't see the guy because he was wide open. Yeah. So that's definitely something that our DBs, I hope, or I assume Jim Knowles honestly has been cooking, and also he doesn't have his hands behind his back. That's one of the big things that has changed. That Oregon will not be seeing the same defense that they saw before. This will be a completely defense that they have faced. And also, we talked about how much better Jeremiah Smith is. Let's talk about how much better Sonny Styles will be in this game because he was not playing his best ball the first time against Oregon, and he has been playing better as the season has went along.
100%, dude. I mean, Sonny Styles, he's been balling recently, and I think a part of that is what you were referring to before. It's a direct link back to Jim Knowles being able to run his own defense. Everybody knows that this happened, bro. Like, I don't know if it's cliche to say it, but like Jim Knowles was not being able to run exactly what he wanted to run for whatever reason. I don't even want to go into the reason. It doesn't even matter. And I think that one thing that people don't realize is that Jim Knowles, not just is he able to get like dial or initiate, create more pressure. Jim Knowles, with him being able to run his own defense, just has answers. He has answers everywhere for everything. So like if he realizes that this is something that we need to adjust to, well, with him being able to run his own defense and do what he wants, he automatically has something that he can do to adjust to that. So like those plays that you're talking about, right? Especially the one you were talking about where Tej Johnson was wide open in the end zone. Now that was also to the field. So that would have been a really far throw. That's something that Jim Knowles could exploit in this game. Just for example, if they try to do that and they say, okay, well, this was open last time, let's try this, that could end up turning into a turnover because now Jim Knowles can put an answer in there for that with being able to run his own defense. And we've seen it over and over again. Like there hasn't been a team since the Oregon game, and I know that the offenses haven't been good, but there hasn't been a team since the Oregon game that Jim Knowles didn't have an answer for. And if you got one thing off on them, like they were shutting everything else down the rest of the game. So
big facts. And also, man, so we have this Oregon fan in here. Shout out to, I don't even know how to say their name, but it looked like Anania.
Anania, I'm calling it.
Yeah. And they said it won't be close the second time around. And maybe it won't be.
I kind of agree with him.
I mean, hey, maybe it won't be. If we saw the Ohio State that played that Tennessee game, yeah, it definitely will not be close. So I can agree with that. And then also said we're about to walk down Ohio State. We in Tennessee. Now that I agree with. I agree. Oregon is better than Tennessee. Y'all, I've been calling Tennessee mud. I've been saying I have concerns about the SEC as well. Seeing that they put that Tennessee out there, I think that the SEC should probably kick them out of the conference because that was terrible. And then they also said that they don't realize Oregon's best defensive player was injured versus Ohio State. Bro, Burke is about to wreak havoc on Will Howard. And here's the thing. I want to give Burke all the credit. This guy is an athlete.
I think it's Burke,
same thing. I think the guy's an incredible athlete. But what was he doing to stop Penn State from running for 300 plus? Also, I do believe as long as I think a lot of people still have that Ohio State team up north game in their head. And one thing that we have seen, yes, Donovan Jackson is normally a guard, but he has been getting better and better every week. And we have been hearing announcers saying, hey, this is going to be a test for him. Like Abdul Carter, he got his. I don't think that Birch is Abdul Carter. Sorry. But that was also Donovan Jackson's first time playing that left tackle. And he still held his own against that man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Mike, I'm not going to sit here and act like there's not a chance that like a big time defensive end could come into a game and make and wreak havoc. And, like that could happen. We've seen it happen as Ohio State fans to our own team. I don't think that can happen to this team. This team has gone against too many good defensive linemen. But
this is my point that I was getting at, Terry, was my thing is I've been watching all the interviews today or of this weekend, and Chip Kelly continues to bring up Birch. I just know the way Chip Kelly can scheme things up. He's already playing for that guy. So honestly, he might not be the one that has that game. Now, is he going to get his, or am I expecting him to at least make a couple plays? Yes, I am. But if he doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised because I feel Chip Kelly has something schemed up for him. Also, you're expecting this man to just be one-on-one all the time? Do you not watch film? Have you not seen Ohio State use a tight end? Is he going to win the 2-on-1 matchup?
And you're talking about a player who hasn't been playing, dude. That's another thing that is not factoring in. Like, I know he played against Penn State. Okay, that's fine. But like he hasn't played like the whole entire season. Obviously, if he didn't play against Ohio State and he's just now coming back. So I don't know how much he's played. If I'm wrong about that, the Oregon fans can correct me. But I mean, you can't act like that doesn't factor in. You're like, look at Sonny Styles as an example. He played all year. He got better all year. If you're not playing, you're not getting better. So.
And then also, that's another thing that I was gonna say is Ohio State is kind of fresh. You gotta think about it. Carson Hinsman, fresh. Luke Montgomery, fresh. Austin Ceraville, he was dealing with an injury, I believe, earlier in the season, but now that boy is fresh.
Yeah.
So you're talking about guys who have been playing all season. Now you got Carson Hinsman doesn't have a whole season on his body. Luke Montgomery doesn't have a whole season on his body. Austin Ceraville doesn't have a whole season on their body. So, I mean, I think these guys are going to be up to play and might have a little extra ump to it as well. I think this is going to be a really good game.
And I expect Oregon to also, Mike. Sorry to interrupt you again, man, but I expect Oregon to honestly be fresh too and be up because they've been off for longer than we have now since we played, whatever that Tennessee game a week ago or 10 days ago, whatever. So, but yeah, just wanted to comment on that. I do think Oregon will be fresh too. So,
I do want to say this. I seen, from what I seen, I did see like, the Evan Stewart, him going around with the camera. He seemed a little bit loose. But it seemed like a little bit of the guys at Oregon seem a little bit tight, like very serious. Whereas you see the Ohio State players, they just seem up, loose, upbeat. And the last time, like I remember this, like I remember seeing a Bama team who was going into their interviews tight, seemed too serious. And you just see Ohio State confident, loose, having a good time, enjoying things. And they had that confidence enough, and they went ahead and took care of business against Bama, man. I'm kind of feeling that same energy. I'm predicting that same energy, and I got Ohio State winning this game by 10 points.
Give me a score prediction, bro. Come on, we do this. We do this on here, Mike. On here, we do it, at least for this game. I haven't gave one yet, dude. I don't even know. I haven't 30, thought about it yet.
34-24.
Ooh, you're going close.
I said
can we entertain this Oregon fan one more time real quick before we get out of here? Before I give my score prediction.
Krayshawn also got kicked out first quarter, honestly.
All right, stop right there. 100. Stop right there. Why did he get kicked out first quarter? Because he spit on Iggy because Iggy had him on lock. That's why. Iggy had him on lock. And so y'all was getting off, throwing to your other, okay, cool. We're gonna work on that. But Iggy had him on lock, and that's why he spit on Iggy. Now I wish Iggy would have fought him. That's another story. But for right now, he spit on Iggy because he was getting locked up. So that's cool. Let him play. Like, hey, maybe that's the answer. Maybe Trayshawn Holden. But anyway, I wanted to answer that real quick because.
What's your score prediction?
Man, I haven't even thought about this, bro. Like, listen, I think Oregon is not as good as they've been all year, bro. That's where I'm at, bro. I think Ohio State is clicking right now. I think Ohio State's going to win this game by 2 scores, which is crazy, but I do think that. I think we're about to control this game. I think we're about to beat them 45-31. And I'm giving them a lot of points. If our defense gives up 31, that's a lot, but I think our offense is going to be cooking so much this game, and I think they might get a couple late scores to make it to that 31. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, since the Oregon game, Ohio State hasn't given up more than 20 points. Tennessee got that 17, but that was against, the backups. If that Ohio State defense continues to do this, I did say that they could score 24, but it could be less than that. I just put 24 on it, thinking about I was thinking about the Tennessee game. It was like, I think they could score their 24 more convincingly than Tennessee as well. And I just feel like their offense is going to be better. So.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. I got to put some respect on their offense, bro. They got good receivers. They got a good run game. And I do think Jim Knowles is going to have smoke for them. I don't want to see them score 31 points, but I just think that our offense is going to cook, and I don't want to predict a crazy blowout, bro. I can't predict a crazy blowout, but I do feel like our offense is just really going to cook this game. That's why I got us at 45 points. I put them at 31 just because I can't predict something crazy. I don't want to be disrespectful. They've been a good team all year. This is our Big Ten champion. You know what I mean? I got to put a little respect on their name, give them 31 points, but we're winning the game.
Yeah. Hey, keep bringing your score predictions in. Let us know what your score is, man. And what we got, just clicked off of that. Seth McLaughlin coaching his brothers, man. I just want to talk about that, man. Shout out Big Seth, staying around the team, staying around the program. This is a guy who came in as a transfer, and when he went down with the injury, he could have been selfish and said, hey, I'm not really a Buckeye. I could just go ahead, work on my rehab, get ready for the draft. But no, this guy has been at every step. I think he delayed his surgery when he got hurt because he just wanted to be there to be able to help Carson Hinsman and help the team out as well. So I want to say shout out to him. Glad he was able to get that victory cigar against Tennessee because, that's part of the Alabama-Tennessee rivalry, man. So also just want to say that. And again, man, our guy Carlito, man, I want to say shout out our guy Carlito. He said that he had been waiting years since we met in the spaces for Ohio State and Tennessee. Well, congratulations, man. You got that matchup. And, as Asian Posh said earlier, Rocky Flop. Do you want to say anything about that game, man? Because I think, did it take you by surprise or how did you feel about that?
Listen, if you want to talk about that game, here's my rule about this, Mike. We beat their ass so bad. If you want to talk about it, we can do it real quick. But I want to talk about the young guys that got in the game late. Can we talk about that instead of what happened before that? All right, because I thought Jalen McClain looked like a dog. He was out there trying to smack. Malik Hartford looked like a dog. Your guy, I'm gonna let Bryce West, bro. That big play by him down the sideline, breaking up that pass. And I know they scored on the backups, but the future of this defense looks bright to me, bro. We got some young stars out there. And, Aaron Scott, he obviously got beat on that one. The guy dropped it. But, I mean, I like what Aaron Scott's been doing too. I don't know, man. I don't want to talk about that game no more, bro. It's a couple of days till this Oregon game, bro.
But, yeah, I mean, we ain't got to talk about that game. But like you said, man, just seeing Bryce West out there and what he's doing, the last time we didn't have some Ohio guys out there at cornerback, man, and what they were able to do in previous Ohio State classes, and we're expecting the same thing. And Bryce West, we have been hearing, he was battling injuries. People said that, he done fell on the depth chart. Is he going to make it? And you see this guy going out there. You could say it was in garbage time, but this man was going up against starters. Nico was out there throwing the ball, and the receiver, Nico, thought that, when they say a receiver even, he's normally leaving, but not when Bryce West is in coverage, man. And he was able to, guess what he was able to do? Turn his head back.
Hey, what do you call him, Mike?
Bro.
What do you call him, Mike? They're going to be all over our defense next year. What do you call them?
Oh, BIA?
Twitch Monsters, man.
Twitch the Monsters, Mike. Yeah.
Hey,
I've been saying
2025.
Bro,
the year of the Twitch Monsters.
It has been very, very hard for me to not talk about the 2025. So I've been doing that on the side with C-Ball. I've been doing that since the offseason. Me and C-Ball, I've been telling him about how twitchy this team is going to be, and I'm excited about it. So, but Terry, you got anything else, or you want to let the people know where they can find you?
Man, listen, CFB Stop on Twitter. That's where I'm at, man. On here with my guy, Mike.
And you can follow me at 216_wildboy. Make sure you like and subscribe to the best damn media platform. Follow me on social media and make sure you're tuning in. We're bringing you content every week. Make sure you check out Ron and Q as they're bringing content all the time as well. And then right after the Ohio State and Oregon game, win, lose, or draw, I will be on the Voice of College Football Ohio State channel with JR Rankins. Make sure you check us out and go subscribe over there. Hit the notification bell so that you remember we are going live directly after the game. And with that, man, I appreciate that. Appreciate y'all. We out of here. Welcome to the Fans In Sports Show. Thank God I'm not a Florida fan. Just out here looking trash.